All right, I got the 2 deck plates down. My buddy over here is helping me do it. We've got the buckets. I got 10 buckets. I'm gonna have to go get more buckets to do the starboard side, but I've got the port side done, and the first 2 deck plates are epoxied in and are curing. So it looks pretty good. I think it'll work out really well. I was using a bag, a piping bag, or I was using a Ziploc bag as a piping bag, but it was really wasting a lot of material, so I went back I mixed it a little bit thicker and then started using a squeegee and a stick, and it really helped it out. Well, painter stick helped it out a little bit better, but she's coming. All right, got the 4 pieces in the front done. We're gonna move on to the back. It's looking good so far. It's coming together. Well, I've got all the deck plates that need to be epoxied in. I got them epoxied in. My buddy just left here. He helped me out. Shout out to my buddy Jason for helping me, because without him I wouldn't be able to get it done for sure. But I was able to lay all the epoxy down and then use the 5-gallon buckets to press it out and hold it in place, and even got some of my paint cans and stuff up there that I have that I'm using for extra weight. So I was able to get everything nice and tight and squeezed out without having to drill any holes in the deck. So once this hardens and cures, I'll probably give it like a day or 2 to really set good, and I'm going to come back in on the inside and flip it around here so you can see. I'm going to come back in on the inside all the way around and in the front and glass that together. So I'll bond that with a section of glass. I might put a piece of glass right here. We'll see. I'm going to see about that. I don't want to build that up too much to interfere with the deck plate for the fuel tank. These deck plates right here over the fuel tank are going to be removable, so they're not actually going to get epoxied down. They're going to get either some 4200 or some kind of like semi-permanent epoxy. So that way, most likely I'm going to use 4200. That way I can, it's semi-permanent. It won't go anywhere, but I can pull it out if I need to replace the tanks down the road. So you got easy access to those. All right, I won't say easy. You have access to the tanks. But thankfully it looks really, really good. I'm very happy. Pretty much everything fit together really, really well. I got good squeeze out. Just kind of been going around and cleaning it up. But I'm pretty happy the way it worked out. So I have a deck back in there now. So the only thing I got to do now is finish it out with a little bit of glass. I got to fair it in, and then once I fair it in, it'll be ready for paint. So it's coming together really, really well. Very thankful for it. And I have the center deck pieces to finish up, and once I get those completely built, then I'll be able to install those. But I mean, it's really going our way now. So the next thing I'm going to probably do is, once these harden up and then set, and I finish these deck plates, I'll go ahead and put in the fuel tanks. I've got pretty much everything I need, minus the hoses. My dad has all the hoses in Florida, so as soon as I get all the measurements, he's going to send me what I need, and then I'll install it, have it all on the boat. But all right, guys, well, that's going to be it for the day. I'll probably touch back in the morning and let you kind of see how it looks after it hardens and cures a little bit overnight. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Y'all have a blessed day. Well, good morning, guys. It's the next day. I'm out here in the boat. Looks pretty good. Everything's hardened up really well. It is a little tacky, or like little sticky to the touch. You can't put a fingernail in it, but it has like a film on the outside of it that is a little tacky, so it needs to cure a little bit more for sure. But I'll flip you around here so you can see. But it's just kind of like this is actually better than what it was an hour ago. but I can't put my fingernail or anything in it. But it's just a little sticky to the touch. It needs to dry on the outside a little bit more. But it is rock solid, like really solid. All the connections in between the hole and the deck plate are really solid. So I feel pretty good about that. I'm just gonna let it sit as long, pretty much all day, probably all day tomorrow too. The sun's supposed to come up this afternoon, and then tomorrow the sun is supposed to be a little prettier. It's a nice day, but it's still like in the upper 50s. I really like for it to be mid 60s to 70s would be great, but it's curing for sure. I don't think it's going to go anywhere, but I would like for it to be a little bit warmer. But overall it came together really well. So I'm going to let it sit for a little bit longer before I do anything with it, and just let it cure, take its time. This is the biggest piece of this puzzle, so I don't want to mess this up. But let it sit a little bit longer. But so far so good. All right, guys. Well, while I'm waiting on all that to cure up there and kind of just moving forward with it, the next thing I'm going to kind of work on today is this coffin box that I'm going to build the insert for. I'll flip you around here so you can check it out. But these are the two boxes for the very forward of the bow. They're the inserts. I'm going to take and cut them down and I'm make one box, and that'll give me basically a cooler insert that's almost 5 feet long. And it'll go underneath that big coffin door that I built. I glassed those two deck plates together. So I was going to build a coffin box inside the box itself and put like a bilge space in it where it would have like a floor, and then build up from there and insulate it. But really, I can do the same thing with just combining these two boxes. I'm going to insulate them, and then that way I can pull it in and out, and I don't have to build any more bilge area. So I get to maintain the bilge area for the water underneath of it, and then I can plug in a macerator pump down here, which will pump it out to the stern. So pretty much I get like a removable cooler by glassing this thing together, and I've got plenty of fish space, ice space, or storage space as well. So it just makes sense to do it this way. It's actually less work. It's easier to cut this and glass this together than adding more Coosa board and more weight to the bow if I don't need to. So for the second time, I'm going to try this out, and I believe it'll work out really well. So, all right, well, we're going to kind of start working on this. Gonna have to clean my line up and really fit them together, but it should work pretty good. All right, well, I got a pretty good line there. It ain't perfect, but I can work with that. I can glass that together. Got this grinded down. This will all be flat and filled in, reinforced. And then the drain will be here. I'm gonna cut in a 1-inch drain, and then it'll pick it up when the sump pump, macerator pump, will pump it, a fish box out to the stern from there. But looks pretty good. Cleaned her up. All right, guys, it's been 24 hours since I laid down the deck. We finished it up at 4 o'clock, and it's just after 4, about 4:20 now. I'll flip you around here to give you an idea what it looks like. Turned out really well. I got in these boxes right here, and I tried to pull on them and deadlift them out, and they won't budge at all. So they're rock solid. It's still like kind of like a rubbery film on the top of it, where you got some of that resin there from the epoxy. I can't say I've ever seen it do that before. Kind of like, it's just like sticky, kind of like to the thumb. Like I wouldn't say so much sticky. It's not sticky, but it's like a rubber. Like you feel like a rubber there. I know it'll sand off, but I mean, it's rock solid. I don't know if it's just because it's been so cold the last day and a half that it's not like dried like it normally would. But if it got a little bit of water from the 5-gallon buckets, because we definitely spill a little bit of water, but I don't know if it caused it to give like a sticky film or what, but it is just a little sticky. But it's rock solid. I'm very confident it ain't going nowhere. I snatched on it, pulled on it, and tried to deadlift it out of there, and it would not budge. I was looking and listening for any kind of like movement of the glass or anything, and so thankfully, good Lord willing, she'll hold and she'll last forever. So I've got confidence in her. But turned out really well. I've got to get that one little deck plate up in the very front. I started working on cutting the box today for the insert for the coffin box. So I'm going to start getting that done the next couple days. Next couple of days is supposed to be like barely touching 50, so which is not good for glassing. It needs to be 55 plus to really glass for the resin to do what it's supposed to do. So we'll see. I might have to kind of like take a break from a little bit of that stuff, cut all my materials, and then wait for a really good warm day and then knock it out. Here in North Carolina, it shifts really quick. So it's cold the next 2-3 days, and then we can be back in the 70s by next week. So it's not a big deal, but I don't want to rush it and utilize the materials that I have on a bad day and it not set or cure like it should. So I'm just gonna be patient. God's brought me a long ways with this thing, so I'm just gonna take my time and let it work out. But so far so good. Very thankful the way it worked out. Let me show you around the boat. So this is the hatch. I just kind of laid in. This is going to be for the life jackets. It'll get a hinge and a lock on it. Rod locker box, one each side. Turned out pretty nice. She is rock solid. This is the last piece I've got to sand down just a little bit right here on this corner and then lay it in. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to epoxy it down, and my divot will go here and then be reinforced down here. I'm going to cut out this bar right here, and my coffin box cooler is going to go right here. But she turned out really nice. Very thankful for her. A lot of bowel space in the Shamrock. Well, guys, thanks for watching. That's going to call it probably for this video. I want to keep working on the other stuff. Just came out here real quick tonight to kind of really give it one last check. But so far, so good. Very thankful the way she's turning out. You have a blessed night.